do you do, Mr. Wilson? Welcome home.
Thanks. My old room available?
Number 709, I believe. Yes, sir.
Miss Gilroy in?
Yes, sir.
Oh, that's good.
But the register, Mr. Wilson, you haven't registered.
Just, Come on, Peanuts. I'm in a hurry.
Yes, sir. I will.
Yes. Oh, put the bag on the bed.
Come in.
Hiya, Frankie.
Hi.
Hey, my name is Wilson, James Montgomery Wilson. Remember me?
The name sounds familiar. And what's it in regard to, Mr. Wilson?
That's a fine way to welcome your prodigal fiancé.
Fiancé? Oh, yes. You're the guy that stood me up at the church.
I radioed you from the boat, didn't I?
Come to think of it, I believe you did. Thanks for the old world courtesy.
Oh, but that Burma assignment broke at the last minute. I barely made the boat.
As far as I'm concerned, you missed the boat.
Oh, don't be like that, honey. I've still got the license.
Frame it.
But what about the bridal corsage? I can't frame that.
You can save it for Mother's Day. It's no use, Jim. The Bombay Clipper leaves at 4 p.m. and I'm going to be on it.
So you're going back to Frisco, throwing me over.
Oh, you did the throwing, pal. Twice.
I explained all about the first time.
Sure you did. I come all the way across the Pacific to marry a byline. You didn't even meet the boat.
But I was running down a story. How can a man in Calcutta meet a boat in Bombay? That's a physical impossibility.
Okay, so I skipped all that. I cooled my heels in a strange city just waiting for you. You came back and we set the wedding day. And you beat it for Burma. Wrong number.
Look, honey, I'd have taken you to Burma with me, only there wasn't time. You know I'm sorry.
Oh, sure, you're sorry. You're always sorry. Well, you needn't be. You know, you really did me a favor. You showed me exactly what to expect as the wife of a roving correspondent. Me, I'll take suburbia. A husband in the insurance business. At least he might be home once in a while to say goodnight.
Is that what you really want, Frankie?
Yep. Anything wrong with it?
No. But why didn't you tell me? You should have known by now that anything is okay with me just as long as you go with it.
What?
Anything. Once you told me you liked me in a beret. I bought it, didn't I? Well, now I'll quit playing correspondent and get a desk job in Frisco.
And just how long do you think you'd stick it out?
Stick it out? Say, you think I'm in love with hopping on and off boats? Chasing news down the back alleys of Asia? Why, they can have Bombay and Calcutta, too. I'll take Berkeley, California, and you. Say, maybe we can set that to music.
Just the words sound good to me.
Good? Why, honey, they're too true to be good. Say, we're wasting time. What time did you say the Clipper left?
4 o'clock.
It's 2 now. Here, trade your ticket in for the honeymoon suite. I'll quit my job and I'll meet you at the terminal. We can be married by the captain. And, don't you stand me up.
Got your hat, Mr. Ruggles?
Thank you very much. Hello, Rug. Sorry, fella, I haven't got a cent on me.
Hey, Rug, it's me, Jim Wilson.
Hiya, Jim. I'm busy at the moment. Wait for me. Well, Jim! How are you, Jim Wilson? Gee, I'm sorry. I got so many things on my mind.
I used to work for you, remember?
Well, I ought to remember. It was me that hired you. What do you mean, used to? Oh, oh, look. That was a great story you did on the Burma Road. And you're just the guy I've been wanting to see.
Well, take a good look at me, Rug, and then kiss me goodbye.
Kiss you goodbye?
Yep, I'm through.
Oh, now, wait a minute, Jim. I know what's eating you, and I'll fix it up. What you want is a nice vacation. With pay.
Not anymore, Rug. It isn't even a raise. It's a girl.
A girl? Oh, how do you like?
Ever hear about getting married, going back to Frisco, and settling down?
Jim, you can't do that to me. And after all I've done for you. I never checked your swindle sheets. I've always got you the best.
Listen, Rug. This is on the level. So long.
When are you leaving?
On the Clipper at 4.
You got a job waiting for you in Frisco?
No, but I'll find something.
Well, maybe I can have you transferred to the home office.
On the level?
Well, sure. Take a little wire pulling, but then you can be a real family man.
Say, Frankie, you'd like that.
Give you a chance to work up. Maybe you could get to be head of the office or something.
Well, be worth working for.
Oh, it's the least I can do for you. And all you got to do for me is cover a little story before you leave.
I thought there was a catch in it.
No. Oh, don't be a dope. You can get this yarn in half an hour. You know, it'll feel awful nice to go back to the States with a job waiting.
What's the yarn?
Ah, boy. Now, listen, I just got a hot tip that the Clipper's going to be hauling a load of diamonds.
So what?
So these diamonds happen to be worth £1 million, and they also happen to be the family jewels of the Maharaja of Granjor.
Who's he supposed to be sending them to and why?
That's what you're going to find out. Now, see Bradford at Bombay Manila Airways. He ought to know something.
Okay. But forget that little job in Frisco, and I'll come back 10,000 miles to hack it out of your hide.
Oh, I'll tend to it right away, Jim. So help me.
I'm sorry, Mr. Bradford's very busy.
You see me, Jim Wilson, Amalgamated News.
Well, just a moment. Mr. Bradford, there's a reporter.
I can't see anyone, Miss Kay. Tell him to come back tomorrow.
Of course, not a word about this till it's all over.
Certainly, sir. And I'll make those arrangements right now.
He'd better see me right away. Concerns him and my wife. And you can tell him for me that he isn't going to get away with it. I'll break down that door.
Goodbye, sir. And you can count on my full cooperation.
Hello, R.C. Can we have a little huddle?
You win, Wilson. Come on in. Well, when'd you get back?
About an hour ago, with all the latest jokes.
So I noticed. Well, what can I do for you?
Do you have the Clipper passenger list handy?
Oh, I certainly have got it right here.
Oh,
But I sent a list of Ruggles early this morning.
that's fine. Which one of these people is carrying the diamonds?
Diamonds? What diamond?
Oh, don't give me that baby stare, R.C. The Maharaja stones.
This is all news to me.
I figured you'd say that. But I've got my job, too. I want to know why £1 million worth of ice is being shipped out of the country.
Whatever gave you the idea that they were?
Oh. Caldwell asked you to play dumb, I gather.
My business with Caldwell was a personal matter. The Maharaja is shipping diamonds on the Clipper, then he's doing that on his own. He hasn't notified the company.
Okay. I never asked you. But as long as this story's a pipe dream, it won't do any harm if I interview the prospective passengers, will it?
Not a bit.
Swell. See you at the takeoff, R.C. Oh, and by the way, I just became a Clipper passenger myself.
Hello? I'm in the Hotel Grand Palace. Yes, quickly.
Yes, quite so. Oh, not at all.
Bill seems to be quite an order. 110 rupees, eh?
Yes, Dr. Landers. Thanks, Doctor. I hope we have the pleasure of accommodating you on your next trip.
Why not? All settled, my dear. Shall we go?
I beg your pardon, Dr. Landers. My name is Wilson. I'm with the Amalgamated News. We're filing a little feature on your mission to America, and I wondered if you'd sort of fill in the gaps.
My mission to America? I don't know what you mean.
Oh, Gregory. And we wanted to keep it a secret until we go to Baltimore.
You'll pardon me, Mr. Wilson, but since you seem to have found us out, this is Mrs. Landers.
Oh, how do
How
you
do you
do? Perhaps you can give us enough to satisfy our Baltimore paper.
We had hoped to keep it a secret from my family, but, well, my wife was Miss Sonia Dieterle.
We met in Constantinople. When I left, Gregory followed me here. This morning, we were married.
Oh, congratulations. I
Thank
wish
you.
you all kinds of happiness.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. You have several Clipper passengers registered here. Could you give me their room numbers?
Yes, sir. Who are they?
Thomas Rogers, Chicago.
Room 263.
263. George Lewis, Cleveland, Ohio.
Room 301.
301. Mrs. Abigail McPherson, Hollywood.
Now, let me see. Oh, yes.
Room 305.
305. Thanks. Hey! Going to board now, madam?
Yes.
Watch the steps, madam.
Hey, Steward! Oh, I'm sorry. Hey, how long does it take this flying egg crate to get to Singapore?
14 hours, sir.
14? Well, how long from Singapore to Manila?
6 hours, sir.
That's 20 hours from here to Manila with one stopover at Singapore? Say, you ought to let an American company show you fellas how to run an airline.
This is an American company, sir.
It is? Huh? Well, then it's the heat. 20 hours from here to...
Now, there's an ambassador of goodwill for you. Breezy, brash, and bumptious.
Fortunately not typical of your countrymen.
Oh, thank you. See, what size do you wear? I'll knit you a sweater for that.
Clipper taking off at once. All passengers, please board the plane.
We'd better go aboard, darling. Coming with us?
Oh, yes, please.
See on the front page. Figure out a caption for that crack-up.
A cinch. Yellow hair turns camera shy. Take it easy.
And to think Tom Hare used to be a regular tin idol to me.
Forget it, Tex.
I have.
Well, good luck, Captain.
Thanks, Chief. Sergeant, the Amalgamated News.
Hey, hi!
Wilson, remember those imaginary diamonds, R.C.? Well, somebody just hit me on the head with them. Where can I find Miss Gilroy?
I believe she's in the lounge, sir.
Thanks.
I beg your pardon, sir. Are you on the passenger list?
Don't be silly, I'm a stowaway. Well, Frankie, here I am.
Jim!
Sorry I'm late. I sort of got tied up. Oh, excuse us, will you?
Excuse you? I'd rather stand in line. By the way, my name's Abigail McPherson. But don't let that frighten you. You can call me Mag.
Shall I get the skipper, honey? Mac, how would you like to be a bridesmaid?
A bridesmaid for us? Oh, why, certainly. That's the next best thing to being a bride. Oh, congratulations, my dear.
Don't go away now. I'll be right back.
Say, I better start knitting you two a sweater.
Huh?
You know, a small one.
I do.
Do you have the ring?
Ring?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Will you place it on the bride's third finger left hand, please? By the authority vested in me as captain of this clipper, I now pronounce you man and wife.
Sorry about the ring, honey. I'll Get you on Frisco.
Nobody can say this marriage wasn't made in heaven.
Congratulations.
My best wishes to you. You know this is my first marriage.
Next Stephen, it's mine, too.
Good luck, folks.
Thanks. You'll celebrate with us, won't you?
Oh, I'd like to, but I'm due back at the bridge.
Oh.
Goodbye.
Congratulations, Wilson. Hope you make good copy for the hometown paper.
Thanks. Paper. That reminds me, I got a radio Ruggles.
Ruggles. Jim, you have quit your job.
Well, sure. Sure, Mrs. Wilson. I just want to wire him the good news. I'll be right back, folks. Don't forget the celebration.
Thank you.
I'd like to send a message. Yes, sir. To whom is it going? Christopher Ruggles, Amalgamated News, Bombay. And here's the message. Your ice tip red hot. Running it down on Clipper. We'll phone you from Singapore. Love and kisses, Jim.
Double-crossing weasel.
Huh?
So you had to wire him the good news.
What?
2 birds with 1 stone. A hot tip. And me.
Frankie, listen. You'll send a message right away?
Yes, sir.
Just married, huh?
Frankie. Honey, let me explain, will you? Aren't you going to let me in?
No.
Listen, honey, all the diamonds in the world don't mean a thing to me without you.
What diamonds?
Ruggles got a tip that some Maharaja is sending 1 million pounds of ice on this Clipper. He said he'd get me a job in Frisco if I'd cover it for him. You understand, don't you, honey?
Perfectly. I understand that your job means more to you than any promises you might make to me. The whole thing's a mistake, and we may as well call it off from the start.
How do you like that? 5 minutes after I'm married, I'm a misunderstood husband. Honey, will you please... Tom Hare, don't tell me you're with the crew of the ship.
No. Thanks to you, Wilson, I'll never fly another crate.
I didn't see your name on the passenger list.
I changed my name.
Not very proud of it, huh?
Not since you plastered it over the front page's yellow here. I suppose you'd have flown the serum through that storm.
If I'd have set myself up as a flyer, I sure would have given it the old college try.
There wasn't 100 to 1 chance.
So you decided to skip the gamble, bail out of a perfectly sound ship and let an epidemic wipe out half a native village. You played it a little too safe, Hare. Oh, steward, is there an unoccupied compartment aboard? Yes, sir. C is available. Open it up. I'll be in right after I wash up. Yes, sir. Oh, my name's Wilson.
Mine's Lamb. Jeremiah Lamb.
How do you do?
Over Craig Island. Stability, 850. That's not so bad.
Is this a business trip for you, Mr. Lamb?
No, just traveling for my health. Can you, stand a little raise, Mr. Lewis?
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm forced to call.
Well, I'm calling too, but not very loud.
I'm out, gentlemen. Jack's up here.
Not good enough, Wilson. King's up.
Aces and eights. Looks like my pot.
Well, you can have it. Old dead man's hand.
Let me have another stack, man.
Okay.
How'd you find India, Mr. Lamb?
Just got off the boat, and there she was.
Yeah, that's 4. You ought to be lucky in love, Wilson.
Deal me out this hand, will you?
Well, I ain't very anxious to play 3-handed.
Perhaps I could play your hand, Jim.
Sure, Mac, go ahead.
You know, I should warn you gentlemen, I was very good at penny ante when I was a girl.
Just a few more hands, darling.
I am tired, Gregory. I don't think I'll wait.
Sure you don't mind my playing?
Of course not.
I'll join you in just a few moments.
Wonderful little woman you got there, Doc. Mighty hard to find these days.
Right you are, Mr. Lewis.
You know, I was worried about playing cards with strangers.
Well, now, don't you worry about me having any aces up my sleeve, Miss McPherson. Of course, you might catch me with a queen in my lap.
How many can I bet?
Well, the sky's the limit.
What does that mean?
Well, that means you can bet whatever you like, Mrs. McPherson.
Oh. Well, I'll bet 3 chips.
Well, now, if you'll pardon me, I'm just going to up that a little, just to keep out the pikers.
Well, it's going to be a little expensive to outdraw me. Raise it again.
Gracious.
Now, come, Miss McPherson, you're holding up the game.
Oh, dear. I don't know what to do. Oh, you've got to help me, Jim.
Pledge roll me, Mac.
Thank you. I'll bet all of them.
Well, I know when I'm licked.
Well, I don't scare that easy. I'll raise it again.
But I haven't any more chips.
Oh, Mr. Lewis will take care of that for you.
All right. There you are. That's 6.
Well, that's very generous of you, Mr. Lewis. I'll continue playing.
All set? Cards.
Well, let me see. I'll take 3.
How many?
3, please. I've gone this far.
Beats me.
Oh, what a shame, Mr. Lamb. I'm afraid I drew the very card you wanted.
That's all for me.
Hey, he was cold decking us.
And how? Lucky I split those aces.
Mac, where did you learn to play poker?
On the seaboard line. It was a sweet racket while it lasted. Good night, gentlemen.
Well, good night.
Well, good night. Well, that put you 2 stacks of the goods.
Swell. I nearly passed out when she cut those aces.
Well, I can imagine. You're out 1-liners. We settle in the morning.
Right, Lewis.
Well, I've had about enough, boys. I think I'll get some shut-eye. Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Excuse me.
Good night, Jim.
Good night. Good night, Ann. All right, Lamb. Hand over those diamonds.
Oh, now, wait a minute. Don't be foolish. Just forget that you saw me. I'll split with you.
I happen to prefer all of them.
Okay.
He was struck from behind. Probably never knew what hit him.
Thanks, Doctor. Have every passenger come to the lounge at once.
Very good, sir.
Coming, Mr. Hare. And I've communicated with the British authorities at Singapore. And they inform me that the deceased was a known crook who fled Bombay just a step ahead of deportation.
I'll say it was a crook. Why, we caught him cheating at poker, didn't we?
Well, you should have reported him, Mr. Lewis. I'd have confined him to quarters, and perhaps this wouldn't have happened.
Well, fella hates to admit he's been the sucker.
You know, Cap, there's something screwy about this. Why should anyone want to knock off a small-time crook?
I'm a flyer, not a detective.
And I'm a reporter. So how about lending me your portable typewriter for a little while, huh?
What for?
I want to write the story I'm going to file.
There'll be no news stories filed from the Clipper, Mr. Wilson.
But you can't do that.
Well, that's where you're wrong. Folks, the police will be waiting for us at Singapore. And no one will be allowed to leave the ship until this thing is cleared up. Good night.
Well, now, just a minute, young man, about leaving the ship. I wanted to ask you... Well, I call that exceeding authority, don't you?
I haven't written longhand in years. Hello? Yes?
Well, you've made a fine mess of things. Now we'll all be kept aboard the ship while the carrier gets the diamonds away.
I didn't mean to kill him.
We're not concerned with your intentions. If the diamonds get ashore at Singapore, we must. I hope you understand that. Perfectly.
I understand, sir. Yeah? Who's there?
It's me, Frankie.
Oh, darling.
Make change. Mr. Will's social call.
But...
Just diamonds.
Holy hamburger. Where'd you get these?
I found them in my dressing case.
Open that.
Oh, the murder, I guess.
Why?
Hey, give us some answers for a change, will you? What am I supposed to do with this junk? Dump it in the captain's lap?
Land in the Hooskow for murder, robbery, and assorted felonies?
I didn't kill anybody.
Explain that to a jury.
Oh.
Listen, Frankie, we can trap the guy that planted these in our compartment.
With me playing the cheese?
I'll be there to protect you.
Oh, no, you won't.
Now, wait a minute, honey. If I can wind up this yarn, I've got a job waiting for me in Frisco. My globe-trotting days will be over.
I'll believe it when I see it.
You don't see.
Oh, of course I do, Jim. About as far as I can throw this clipper left-handed.
Okay. I'll trap the murderer. Alone. Alone.
Jim,
Yeah?
good night.
What's good about it?
Hey, open up. It's only me.
Good morning, Mrs. Wilson. You care to join me?
What's the idea of scaring me half to death?
Huh?
I was sure you were either kidnapped or murdered.
You're not that lucky.
What happened last night?
Nothing. I sat up till dawn waiting for the murderer to make a try for the diamonds, and the dope never showed up.
Where are they?
What? Oh, the diamonds. They're safe. Gee, you look beautiful this morning.
Omit the romance, please. What are you going to do now?
About what? Oh, the diamonds. I'm going to smuggle them off in Singapore.
Huh? And how are you going to get them off the ship?
Good morning, folks.
Good morning.
Hiya. This is Mac's yarn, but I'm stuck with it.
You don't know how happy I am to see that you two have made up.
Oh, yes. Everything is very cozy.
I'd better get dressed.
It takes me back 40 years. I wish you boys could have known my husband. What a guy. He could deal him off the bottom with his left hand, and he wasn't left-handed.
उस जगह में कोई नहीं जा सकता है. Absolutely outrageous. I'm going to complain to Washington. Why, they searched me right to the skin like a common criminal.
Searched you? What for?
I don't know. I asked the fellow if he thought I had the murderer hidden on me. And they're ransacking all the compartments, too.
Mr. Wilson. Mr. Wilson.
Coming. Howdy, Inspector.
Sit down, Mr. Wilson.
Thank you. Find the Maharaja's diamonds yet?
Diamonds?
Yeah. That's what you're looking for, isn't it?
I'm looking for a murderer.
Sure. So you're slitting up mattresses. Look, Inspector, you know who I am. I want this story. So how about a little trade? You give me the story and I'll give you the diamonds.
What?
You heard me. Is it a deal?
Perhaps you'd better tell me just what you know, Mr. Wilson.
All right. I know the Maharaja is sending the stones to America. I know I was bopped over the head when I tried to run the story down. I know Lamb was murdered because of the diamonds. Either because he stole them or he was the Maharaja's courier.
I assure you Lamb was not the courier, Mr. Wilson. See, I'm the courier.
That's right, Wilson.
Well, that's a horse on me, Mr. Lewis.
You know a lot about those diamonds, don't you?
Not much. Enough to know where they are.
All right, Wilson, where are they?
Not so fast. You tell me where you're taking them and why, and I'll tell you where they are. But I want the story first. Oh, don't worry. If I don't give you the stuff, you've got me over a barrel.
That's right. You wouldn't mind just telling me how you got a hold of them, would you?
Not at all. Somebody, the murderer probably, hid them in my wife's dressing case. Oh, they're not there now, pal. You were saying?
Give us just a moment, will you, Inspector?
Right.
You realize that this story can't be filed until we reach Manila.
You have my word for that.
The diamonds are the gift of the Maharaja of Grandeur to the British Crown. But, Wilson, right now, they mean a great deal more than just a royal gift. They're a symbol of unity between India and the Empire.
That's heartening news these days. Why are they going to the U.S.?
To be broken up, converted into diamond dyes, and used in the manufacture of precision instruments of war for the British.
Wow. £1 million worth of ice being smashed to bits. That is a real gesture.
Mm-hmm. Now you can understand why there are those who'd like to prevent delivery.
You think Lamb was working for them?
Oh, Lamb was a cheap crook. I had a trap baited and he stumbled into it.
Then you've no idea who the real ones are?
Unfortunately, no. And now, Mr. Wilson, where are the diamonds?
In the morgue.
The morgue?
Jeremiah Lamb obligingly smuggled them on the shore for me. Early this morning, I hid them on the body. I knew they'd be safe there. The worst that could happen was that the police would find them. They probably have them by now.
Well, sir, that's a horse apiece. Oh, Inspector, may I ask you to detail one of your men to take Mr. Wilson and myself ashore, ostensibly in custody?
Certainly, Mr. Lewis. You can count on all our cooperation from us.
Thank you. May I also suggest that the longer you take with your investigation here on the Clipper, the better I like it.
I think I understand you, sir.
Good.
All right, Hastings.
Oh, Wilson, as far as you know, I'm still the loudmouth Mr. Lewis from Cleveland.
With the corny jokes.
That's right.
Now, don't you worry yet. Everything's going to be taken care of.
You'll hear from the American consul about this.
No doubt.
Jim, what happened?
Nothing. The law wants to talk to us.
Have you been arrested?
Well, taken into technical custody is the quaint way they put it. Don't worry, darling. They haven't got a thing on us. All right, Inspector. I'm ready.
You'll live to regret this, my good fellow.
Just a moment. These men are innocent.
What's that?
You made a mistake, Inspector.
Indeed.
I'm the man you want. I killed Lamb.
Yes?
You see, I knew he was a crook. I thought he probably carried a good deal of money. Not to mention diamonds.
I'll do the talking here, Mr. Wilson.
He had no jewelry of any kind, and very little money. I didn't intend to kill him. He caught me rifling his bags and grabbed me. In the struggle, he struck his head.
Unfortunate for both of you. All right, take it to my office.
Yes, Inspector.
There'll be an inquest, of course. All of you will be required to attend.
Well, that'll delay my trip. I gotta make connections in Manila in the morning.
We'll be finished by nightfall. You'll make your connection, Mr. Lewis.
Well, I think it's an outrage.
Please make your headquarters the Hotel Continental. I'll notify you the exact time of the inquest.
You mean we've all got to go ashore?
Hey, what's the idea?
Oh, a quaint old custom. Goodbye, Constable. It's been nice knowing you. Yes, son. Listen, honey. I'm sorry about everything. I promised Ruggles that... Hey, that reminds me. Hello. This is Mr. Wilson. I'd like to make a long-distance call. The Amalgamated News in Bombay. What? What? How do you like that? Police persecution. Well, there are a lot more phones in Singapore. Well, I guess we just have to wait.
That suits me fine.
Hey! Come in. You're a trusting soul, aren't you, Louis? Afraid I'd double-cross you and phone that diamond story in,
Oh,
huh?
not exactly afraid, Jim. Just didn't want to take any unnecessary chances.
I gave you my word, didn't I?
And I'd accept it on anything but a hot news story. Incidentally, we've got the diamond.
Well, they're okay then.
Absolutely, and thank you.
So, it's all right to use the phone now?
Sure, go ahead. But nothing about the diamonds, of course.
Hello. Get me the Amalgamated News in Bombay. Yeah, this is Mr. Wilson again. But it's okay now, I just...
Hello, this is Lewis. Get Mr. Wilson his Bombay number.
And reverse the charges.
Yeah, go ahead. Yep. Yeah? Sure. I got it. Yeah. Yeah. Full confession. Motive robbery. Less than $100. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, but say, what about those diamonds?
Diamonds? Nothing new on that angle yet, but I'm still working on it. Didn't you get my wire? Huh? Well, what are you beefing about? I land your sweet murder on the Bombay Clipper and still you squawk.
Well, now, don't get sore, Jim. This is a swell yarn, but I still want to know about those diamonds.
Well, I'll wrap that up for you by the time we get to Manila. How about my job in Frisco?
Job? What? What job?
Rugg, if you don't cinch that job for me, I'll turn this whole yarn over to the Cooperative News, and for free. That's better. Okay. Satisfied?
Perfectly.
That's swell. Now, if you'll excuse me for a couple of hours. Room service, please. I'll see you at the inquest.
Well, all right, let's go up there together.
Yeah, give me a ring. Hello, room service. I'd like to order something special in the way of breakfast. You see, it's sort of a wedding breakfast, and Just a second. Was there something else, pal?
Oh, no, just make mine ham and eggs.
Make that a wedding breakfast for 3.
All that red tape to decide that the man was dead, as if we didn't know.
I thought it was very exciting. I've never heard a man charged with murder before.
All right, everybody, you've got the whole evening to kill. We're not taking off until midnight. More delay? No, it's only 6.5 hours to Manila. We want to arrive by daylight. Well, have a good time.
Thank you, Captain. Thank you.
Well, darling, I suggest we return to the hotel.
Yes, Gregory.
Mr. Lewis, we have room for one more. Can we drop you?
Oh, thank you very much, Doc. But I promised the Wilsons here I'd show them a little of Singapore.
Well, have a nice time.
All right. See you later.
Goodbye.
Probably see you at the hotel, Doc.
Well, folks, what'd you like to see first?
It's mighty white of you, Lewis, mighty white, but I think Frankie's a little too tired for sightseeing. So suppose you take us to the hotel, and then you go on by yourself.
Well, if that's the way
Oh,
you
but
think
I would just love to see the sights with Mr. Lewis.
That's the girl. You know what we'll do first? We'll go to the bazaar and get him some duds, and then we'll really see the sights.
Oh, I can hardly wait.
Does the little woman pick your clothes?
No, just the pockets.
Here's the fellow I was telling you about. Got the best straws in Singapore. Hello, Joe.
I don't want a hat.
Now, come on, try it on, will you, Jim?
I don't want a hat. What's the matter with the one I got?
It's the wrong kind of straw, and his son's treacherous. That's not bad.
Oh, that's a lovely right there.
Oh, you're right, you're right. I'm a broad-brimmed man myself.
Mm-hmm. You're a persistent guy, aren't you?
Oh, that's the one.
I'll buy it. I can always exchange it in a restaurant. K-Dung-Dung.
$1.
He was probably born in Brooklyn.
Goodbye, And the Maharaja ate the curry.
Come on, out you go.
I want to thank you, Mr. Lewis. I've really seen Singapore. And now, if you'll excuse us, we'll crawl upstairs and slip into some new feet.
Oh, I'm not a bit tired, darling. Just hungry. You go freshen up while Mr. Lewis buys me a club sandwich.
Wonderful idea. Jim, we'll meet you in the dining room. And I still say that's a good-looking hat. Of course, when he starts to pick your hats, the honeymoon's over.
Even if I told you, you wouldn't believe it. Help me out with those packages, will you?
Waiter. Table for two, please.
Say, waiter, break that up. Oh, sorry, Doc. I didn't... Hey, you know, a little lady's starving to death here. Hope you haven't lost your appetite by now. Yeah, that's a funny-looking contraption for a guy who's used to getting his coffee by putting a nickel in the slot. That doesn't look bad, huh? Of course, those toothpicks are an acquired taste. Hey, do you have to have a pilot's license to run that thing, huh? He won't talk. You know, a good cup of coffee keeps you going. But of course, this stuff, they get by serving it to tourists. If they ever gave it to truck drivers at home, there'd be a riot. Well, here goes nothing. You know, my sister-in-law can make the best cup of coffee you ever tasted in your life. She'd put she'd put... Oh, yeah.
Shall I get a doctor?
No, stay.
Mr. Lewis looks ill. Don't you think you better help him?
Louis, what's the matter?
You take it. Skip the boy, Clipper. Good luck.
Louis, what happened? Speak up, man.
This man's had a heart attack. Can we get him to a private room?
Yes, sir, of course.
Here, let me give you a hand.
Let's get out of here.
Mr. Lewis.
He's dead, honey. We got to get aboard the Clipper.
Jimmy, can't leave
I
me
know
alone.
what I'm doing.
There's nothing on him. He must have passed him to Wilson.
Just a moment, Mr. Wilson. I'd like to talk to you. Up this way, please.
It's quite cozy here.
I'd prefer our conversation in a less public spot. After you. Now give me that package.
You'll never get him off the Clipper, chum.
I will if nobody knows who's got it. All right, get going now.
Are you all right? Thanks, pal. Take me to the cabin, will you?
Very good suggestion, Mr. Wilson.
What goes on?
I saw the new passenger descending from the motor turret. I investigated and found Mr. Wilson outside the hatch.
Outside the hatch? Yeah, hanging out the struts by my teeth. Say, I'd like to talk to you privately, Captain.
If you don't mind, I should like to hear that explanation also.
Huh? Oh, this is Captain Chunder, Mr. Wilson.
Captain Chandra?
Of the Maharaja's staff.
Oh. So that's why my radio didn't get through to Ruggles.
Yes. It is also why I knocked you out at the Hotel Grand Palace.
What? You mean to say you were the guy?
I assumed you were after the diamonds.
I see.
The new passenger has taken them away from you?
That would be Mr. Bland.
Yeah. Now, how'd you know I had the diamonds?
I saw Mr. Lewis hand them to you at the hotel.
Okay, Cap. This seems to be right up your alley. Suppose you take over from here on in.
I should be glad to do so. May I ask you first to place Mr. Bland under arrest?
Sure.
Come in.
Get up.
Why, it's my friend, Mr. Wilson.
You're a nice playmate.
Are you looking for something in particular, gentlemen?
You're under arrest, Mr. Bland. Come on. Mr. Bland, of course, has passed the diamonds on to one of you. But figure this one out, folks. American authorities are meeting us at the Manila docks. And no one will leave this ship by force or otherwise until those stones are recovered. That's all.
All right, Sam, take over. Time for my vitamins.
Okay.
Keys to those handcuffs, Captain. All right, Bland, send the message.
Bombay Clipper, calling X42X. 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 Come in, X42X.
Got him. Proceed according Plan 3.
Proceed according Plan 3.
We'll bring Clipper down latitude 10.
We'll bring Clipper down latitude 10.
Longitude 116.
Longitude 116.
Landers.
Landers.
Ask him this.
Who is it? The steward, sir, with your supper.
Send him away.
Warn the passenger steward they're hot.
You see, Mac, the struts were like this, and the wind was blowing me against them.
Oh, you must have been scared to your wits.
Scared.
Don't be alarmed, folks, but something's happened on the bridge.
All right, pilot, set her down.
Just setting her down.
Is there any way to get to the bridge without going through the radio room?
Yes, to the gear room.
Wait a minute. Maybe I can help. Come on.
She's setting down, sir, 2 miles off the port bow.
Very good. Stand by to pick them up.
Aye.
Wait a minute.
What's the matter, scared?
Yeah. picture, remember?
Yellow hair.
See what you can do for him. Walked right into that one, didn't I?
Bad?
Got a hunch it's a little worse than a hangnail.
Jim, are you all right?
Yeah, Head got it. Mr. Wilson. Submarine. How's the captain?
Still unconscious.
Can you fly this crate?
No, I cannot.
Give me a hand over here.
Give me the shooting irons, buddy.
Tom, there's a submarine approaching. Do you think you can get this off the water? I don't know. Oh, but I can sure give her the old college try. Get him out of there. Right over. Come on. Tom. Push the throttle forward. Get on it, Tom. Come on, Tom. Fire! Fire! Tom, come on. Fire! Come on, Tom. Come on. You did it, Tom. You did it. Yellow hair. I mean those words, mister. 96-point type. Steward, get this. This is a switch. Wedding breakfast for 2.
Just a minute.
Good morning, Miss Wilson. Mr. Wilson up yet?
How should I know?
Somebody looking for me?
Message for you, Mr. Wilson.
Oh, thanks. Well, this is swell news. This is great. Oh, good morning, Mrs. Wilson.
Hello, what is it, Jim?
Oh, do you want to know?
Of course.
You really want to know?
Stop acting like a child. Stand still.